Nearly 4 in 10 marriages end in divorce. But what happens when you decide to separate? Joining us this morning is Tanya Davies. She's with Davies Law Firm to learn a little bit more about what you need to know. Good morning.
Good morning, Annette.
Let's start with the beginning, really. What happens is, what's the very first thing you have to do if you decide that you want to separate from your partner?
So when you're contemplating a separation, I always tell my clients or potential clients, you need to contact a lawyer right away. And it might sound a little bit self-serving. However, whenever you get sick, you go to the doctor. If you have car troubles, you go and see a mechanic. Going to see a lawyer should not be different at all. You're not an expert in the legal field. It's very complex. There are a lot of intricacies that you need to know. So the lawyer can guide you properly through the process, even if you're separating amicably.
Could it be something you do even if you're questioning it, even if you haven't made up your mind yet, but you're thinking maybe I should go down this route?
Absolutely, just to get advice as to what would happen if you have children, for example, if you have a lot of property issues. So if you're kind of on the fence, then you would know, is it worth it for me, is it not? What kind of consequences would I be facing if I do get divorced?
What happens when you contact that lawyer?
Basically, we provide them with advice. We ask them what the issues are. If they have children, the issues would be custody and access. Child support would flow from that. If there is a disparity in the parties' incomes, there would be potentially spousal support. And of course, if they own a home, division of property.
Is that meeting with the lawyer confidential?
Of course, absolutely.
So if the other partner were to come to a lawyer as well, you wouldn't divulge to the other partner what you've talked to?
No, we actually do our conflict check. So if we know what the partner's name is, and of course we do because we would talk to the client, we would not be permitted to accept that person as our client. They would need to get 2 separate lawyers.
How long do proceedings for a divorce take?
It really depends. The divorce itself, you need to live separate and apart for at least a year.
Okay.
If it's a simple divorce, it could approximately take 3 months. However, a lot of people have children, they have property division issues, so that's a step-by-step process if it proceeds to court. The very final step would be a trial where final decisions would be made, and it could be a year from the time when you commence your proceedings.
What's the difference between mediation and court to settle a divorce?
So in mediation, the lawyers would attend with their clients. There is a mediator who would facilitate discussions and encourage and facilitate settlement. In court, there is a decision maker. There is a judge. You present all the evidence, you cross-examine witnesses, and the decision maker would render a decision.
Are they often drawn out? Can it take a long time for folks if there's children involved or there's disputes over who gets what, that can be made easier when they have a good lawyer that they trust?
Well, absolutely, because you need to know the law, you need to know what professionals you need to get involved in order to get proper results when it comes to custody and access, for example.
I think you nailed it right off the top when you said, seeking out a divorce lawyer right away is probably your best route because you don't know the laws, right? Most of us, we're not all divorce lawyers. We don't understand how it would necessarily unfold. Where a divorce lawyer can walk you through that. Tell us a little bit more about your law firm.
So I started my practice in 2005. I expanded over the years. Now I have a lot of lawyers who work for me, and we expanded to the point where we're expanding into different jurisdictions. So now I have an office in Toronto.
All right, and so Tanya, you're always available to be able to take on new clients and answer all those questions because as we mentioned there earlier, 4 in 10 marriages end in divorce.
It's unfortunate, but that's the reality of the situation.